Album review for the new Spark Sound Show album ONGAKU. That's a pretty fun band name to say. Spark Sound Show is an indie rock, synth punk kind of band. They're pretty versatile with their sound. This is their third album and their first since 2019's New Black, and their first that's available pretty much at all in the West. I was really into these guys back in 2020, 2021 off their Akudama Drive opening Steel, and their compilation This Is Spark Sound Show is really good too. I've kind of fallen off a bit since then. I wasn't really a fan of singles like Happy Birthday, so I'm excited to see how this is and if they've returned to that kind of form. And the first song on this album is that Akudama Drive opening Steel, albeit a re-recorded version. It's not a better re-recording either. It's still a great song, but while the Akudama Drive version was 10 out of 10, incredible, fantastic, this one's more like a 8.5, 9 out of 10. It's still good, but the vocals have lost a lot of the edge and punch they had on the first version. Regardless, this song still rules. Your thoughts on this song will probably come down to your thoughts on the synths that are blaring in 20 different directions the whole time. I love them. I know a lot of people don't. This is one of the most deranged anime openings I've ever heard. It's awesome. The second song is one of the singles, Skimming Me, and this one had to grow on me a bit. I wasn't big on it the first time I heard it, but after re-listening to it a few times for this review and playing it louder and louder, it's coming around on me. Using a high-pitched anime girl sounding vocalist is typically reserved for cute pop songs and stuff of that nature. Here, Spark Sound Show decides to deploy one of those on an unhinged synth punk track, and surprisingly it works. This is pretty much exactly what I want out of this band. Tight, contained, synth punk chaos that doesn't overstay its welcome. That short runtime of just a minute and a half also lets the band throw element after element on you in quick succession, never giving you time to breathe. This and Steel are a really good start for the album. The third song is TV Show, which features some stop-start guitars and some more prominent synth lines. This is one of those songs where it feels like there's 20 things going off at once for pretty much the entire duration. And it works some of the time, but not always. The chorus here feels kind of weak and disjointed. It carries over a lot of stuff from the verses, and because of that, it doesn't really stand out at all. That being said, the verses here are really good though. The last one especially, which has a great rhythm. It's still a decent song, but it's not the best. The fourth song, Akuma, is where the real weirdness begins. So far, the album's been wild, but it's been pretty consistently synth punk. The synths are still present here, but there's some heavy guitars that have a normal punk or even a metal kind of vibe that are really prevalent. The song doesn't change though, and still feeling like it has no straightforward song progression, and it is instead just 3 minutes of chaos. But the band makes that work for them. The rap verses are super weird, but at this point, I'm not sure if I'd be surprised by anything the band pulled out. It all mashes together well in the end, and it's an enjoyable song. AKUMA kourinn is closer to the length of Skimming Me. Instead of being super tight like that song though, this is instead pretty much an interlude. Why we need this full song-length interlude on an already pretty short album is beyond me. It also doesn't really connect to the last song at all, as might be implied by the title. This doesn't need to be here. Tracks 6 and 7, Mad Age and Mad Him, are kind of a package deal. Mad Age is bafflingly pretty much another interlude. It's a 50-second metal buildup. And it's weird that this is 50 seconds of metal buildup, because the song it's building up to, Mad Him, isn't even a minute and a half. This buildup is almost as long as the song it's building up to. Mad Him tries to incorporate some grindcore elements of sorts, but it doesn't really match the energy that you need for that style of music. The band also doesn't really commit to it at all, which just leaves it falling flat. And the vocals from AKUMA kourinn come back here too, which is just baffling at this point. That's 3 songs that total about 4 minutes and do pretty much nothing other than confuse me. I don't get why any of these 3 exist. The 8th song is Yuki, and between the vocal recording quality, the distortion, the random blast beat in what is otherwise a fairly normal indie rock song, and the fact that it's called Yuki, this kinda reminds me of Gangnam Boys. More specifically, late-stage Gangnam Boys, think like Namina Daisuke Dio era. The problem is, this has none of the songwriting that makes late-stage Gangnam Boys work. This boils down to just being a badly written indie rock song. It feels like there's way too much empty space here that I guess they tried to fill up with the blast beat, but it didn't really work at all. It's super basic for what has so far been a really weird, creative, and fun album. It kinda sucks. Muzukashii Terepashii brings a welcome return to the chaos, though. We're back to some energetic synth punk here. The best part of this song is probably the melodies. The first verse sounds so cool, and it really helps to bring back the energy. And the chorus is just as good. It reminds me a little of TV Show with all the different stuff going on, but it's a lot cleaner than that song. And I think all the different aspects of the song mash together better here. It's just really fun, and it's definitely one one of the best songs on the record. Odoranai, the next song, is pretty similar. However, there's a lot of weird EDM influence here. There's like a modern pop drum beat going on and some really rhythmic bass that I feel belongs in more of a dance pop song than anything else. Again, not something I would have expected out of this band, but they could pull out pretty much anything at this point and I wouldn't be surprised. There are parts of this song you could probably get away with playing at a rave, and then there are also parts of this song that would make a great floor clearer at the end. It goes hard, I like this way more than I probably should, and it really shows that SparkSound Show are an incredibly versatile band. The next song, Yellow, is a more straightforward punk song that incorporates some nu metal influences during the first half. The synths are much more cut back here as the song focuses on more natural guitar and drum sounds. That paired with the loud, shouty chorus gives the song the most pure punk energy on the album. I do think the second verse breakdown is kinda unnecessary. Like, it's just a bad J-pop trope at this point, but the way the song ramps back up to the chorus gives it a satisfying conclusion anyway. It's a really solid song that I like more and more with each listen. Remember when I said that nothing on this album could completely surprise me after some of the earlier stuff here? Yeah, that all changes on Ureugyaru. This is a straight up synth pop song. To continue my late stage Gangnam Boys analogy, this sounds like God Save the World. They also bring in a guest vocalist on this one, Aya Peta, the girl from Dizzy Sunfist, which only adds to the insane sound of this one. Despite being a completely different genre from every other song on the record, it still sounds kinda decent. The chorus has some pop sensibilities that wouldn't sound out of place in some kind of anime opening, and an almost Eurobeat inspired synth section. I'm not gonna call it great or anything, but it's a lot better than I thought a song like this from this band could be. If you're missing the rock, however, that comes right back on DEATHTRUCTION. This song pairs some hard, almost metal inspired riffs with guest rappers Kai and Ryo Takiyawa. It effortlessly morphs between some nu metal inspired rap sections and some more EDM styled rhythmic sections, making it another really versatile song. That's kind of a theme for this album. Not everything on this record is good and it doesn't always work, but this album sounds unlike pretty much anything else you're gonna hear. SparkSound Show is capable of pulling off a lot of different styles and they just decided to shove all of them into one album, which is remarkable considering, again, this is a pretty short album. The penultimate track is Shiawaseninaru. The Gangnam Boys vocal impression is back here. Between the recording quality of the vocals and the general inflection of them, I just can't help but get that vibe. This is much more of a straightforward punk rock song, I just don't think it does enough. If you're gonna make a minute-long punk song, I think you need like a killer riff or drum beat or hook to catch people's attention and get them to come back for more. This song doesn't really have any of those, though. No part of it actually stands out at all, so I have no reason to ever come back to it. There's nothing bad either, it's just not special or, surprisingly for this album, unique at all. And the last song is Sousou, a little 2-minute piano ballad to end the album. When it comes to piano ballads like this, I always assume they're focused on the lyricism, which I am completely missing, as I do not speak Japanese at all. This is a wind-down song that would probably work better if you did actually speak the language. It doesn't do anything for me, though. So that's ONGAKU. There's a lot of variety here for a 33-minute album. You got prominent sections of synth punk, nu metal, normal punk, J-rock, there's even some EDM and synth pop here, all crammed into just over half an hour. And it pulls all that off mostly good. There's moments where I'm left wanting more and confused as to what they were trying to do, but there's just as many moments that shine really bright. It's a mixed bag, but one that, overall, I'm glad I checked out. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I think this shows SparkSound Show has potential, and if they further dive into their unique sound and versatile chaos, I think they've got a lot of good music in their future. Like, sub, comment, all that cool stuff. I really appreciate y'all watching. If you have anything you want me to cover, let me know, and I might do it. And if I don't do a video, I will probably listen to it and then tell you what I think anyway in the comments. Bye.